So in this episode, I drag Lace out of bed, tow our C7 to the track, pass a Porsche, almost intimidate a guy in an M3 off the track, but then I lose my brakes at 118 miles per hour. So before we do that, I'm going to show you my experimental C7 screen that nobody with a C7 has ever seen. We even had fans of the channel stop out on their layover to Reno, so it was a good day. Stick around, you're watching Night Drive TV. I always wanted to build fast cars, so self-taught I started with engine swaps, composites in my apartment to multiple shops, tuning, fabrication, and more. 10 years later, the big time, SEMA, Speed TV, I climbed from nothing, but I lost it all. This is my new ride, Night Drive TV. Failure is not an option. Us car guys keep banging the gears of life. Well, folks, it is the classic scenario of Night Drive TV in my life in the past couple of years is when I schedule a track day for myself, I am always working, and then I get right to the last minute to prep for what I want to do, and I'm out of time. So I've got everything apart. So instead of taking the Z06, as you see here, which I want to take, to be honest with you. I've solved the wobble issue. I'm going to post another video. Crazy scenario what happened as to why it was actually wobbling and vibrating. And it's all taken apart because of the MAXDin situation. And so there's no center console. Everything's taken out of it. I really don't want to put it back. It's not a big deal, but I don't know. It just feels like this car is incomplete. It's still smoking on D-cell when I come out of wide open throttle. I still haven't done the valve seals, and it's literally been a year. So I'm taking this instead. And so I wanted to do this anyway. The interesting thing that you'll see in this video is this is on these Michelin AS4s, I think it is. It's like an all-season, high-performance all-season, if you ever heard of that. So instead of these kind of summer-esque Michelin Pilot Super Sports and things like that, we have the all-season. They're a little better in the rain. They can handle a little bit colder temperatures, but obviously they're going to overheat and hit their limits quicker. So what I'm curious about is running the C7 versus what I've done at that track in the C5 with Advans. And so the situation when I ran in this, though, was it was the first time at this track, and while I did have a couple sessions, obviously, first time track day, I mean, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, I did run the S2000 at that same track. That same track here, more recently posted that video you may have seen. So we're just going to kind of see what this can do. Now, same scenario. I'm testing something in this car and the whole car's taken apart. So this does have the PDR system in it, so I'm going to use that in this video. So I just have to get the car back together, get it on the trailer, and then we'll hit the track here in the morning. So yeah, I got to get this thing together. So there she is. Got the this whole console taken out, and I'm wondering if I can just put a little bit of it back in. I may be able to just put this in. Literally every car I have has no dashboard in it. As you can see, there is a prototype in here. A bit of a taste of, what this can do. I'm in here putting the screen back in the C7, and you guys not going to believe what I just found. You ain't going to believe it. See what that says. Let's see if we can zoom in. Can we zoom in? Made in China. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. What are we going to do when it comes to the MAXDin? Everybody's so upset. Oh, these Chinese. Oh no. So for once I have not lost my 10mm. I've lost my 7mm because that's a very critical size inside of here. Go about this. See this touchscreen? This thing is terrible. God, it's horrid. That means the whole console got to go on there. I was just going to try and put in a little bit of it, and just figured why do that? Get into something comfortable, so got it all back together. Not too bad. Goes together pretty well, actually. I mean, this car's pretty easy, even though you end up taking out like all this all comes out really easy, and I can tell just doing it once. Out here, it's morning. It is probably the worst part about track days, in my opinion, is waking up at like 4 o'clock in the freaking morning to just barely make it. And we're paying 490 for 91. You get the crap octane. I usually put a booster, but I haven't in this car. Haven't had this car very long, and I was very well taken care of and whatnot, and it just gave me an engine light. I don't know. So these AS4s, kind of an all season, they're in good shape, but as you can see, not really a track tire. Don't really know this car, so just gonna see what happens. Not gonna go too crazy. Got to build some trust for it. I don't think the guy's ever done brakes on it. Fluids, things like that. It's not really track prepped. Oh, Lace is awake. She's with us. She's actually coming along.
But this is early.
Yeah, it is.
It's very early.
Well, off we go. Motorhome's running good. We had to put all new batteries in it. New starter battery and new house batteries. I have it on shore power pretty frequently, but shore power, the house batteries swelled up. So I don't know if shore power did it and overcharged them or what, but anyway, we're rolling. We are out here, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, outside road course, and people are still filing in. Got to get this off of here, and this is the trickiest part of the whole track day. This guy got some all-out business over there. This is next. I think I'm gonna go to this next. This is my next move. So yeah, we just made it. I'm gonna probably have to cut this trailer right here, put some tabs, and then have it roll over. So we got our neighbor here. He's got his Mustang, and he got that big motorhome, but he did it. Here we go. Hopefully it goes easy. I think if he backs up slow, it'll probably slowly lower the trailer down. But man, don't disconnect the trailer until you're off of that baby. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. You're just amusing yourself.
I am. The amusement's here.
You should have went and helped him. The window view, I am number 722. So, the engine light's gone away. So that's good. I figured a couple start cycles. I don't know, the battery might have been low, O2, who knows. But second's a little crunchy, a little stiff. So, I don't know this car. We're not friends. So, until I really know something, I don't trust anything. So in Vegas, the tracks, they get dusty and whatnot. So you gotta be cautious. Them first sessions, it's a little skating rink. So no mag ride on this car. It's a Z51, no mag ride, but has the PDR.
Excited to see how it goes, how the Corvette holds up, what it does with those tires. Yeah,
I've never run a track day on all seasons, so it should be entertaining. So we'll see. I have looked up online, and I think that my my track tires, my wheel and tire setup for the Z06, the C5, fits. I think people run dual rear C5 Z wheels on C7 Z51s, like the narrow body cars. So it might be possible that I can, put my wheels and tires on here for tomorrow, and maybe come out and do a comparison with the all seasons versus the Advans, and see what that's worth, because that should be worth a bit. So I'm just going to quickly give you a few clips here of the first session. It's not going to be the whole thing, but yeah, first time seeing the PDR image quality, my gosh, it was terrible. I've corrected it as much as I can, but that's something, I'm wondering about upgrades, different Corvettes. If you guys don't watch the channel, I develop all kind of different things, and I love the PDR system. So I'm like, man, if we could get another camera in there, it's a little better, that'd be great. But I did not have any of the PTM modes. Well, I don't have PTM modes, let's be clear on that, because I don't have the mag ride. So in this case, I was not aware of how to put it in competitive mode. I was in track mode, but you can see there's a lot of traction loss indicators, and it was really restricting me off of the corner. So main objective, want to get the brakes going, get the tires get some heat into them, and see what we got. So what I want to point out to you guys, I know a lot of you C7 folks watching understand this system, but maybe my C5 or C6 followers don't. So the indicators up on the top right next to the gear selector, you see the green bar going up. So the gas pedal and the brake pedal are on a potentiometer, and to the floor you get all the bars lit up. But under braking here, you'd be like, oh, why are you barely touching the brakes? Well, throughout this session and the next one, I was getting into anti-lock with about 2.5 bars, or maybe even 2 bars of braking. But obviously to the floor with the throttle is when you get all green. This is going to be critical to watch later in the video when I lose the brakes entirely at 118 miles an hour. So, okay, so this is our front straight, and we're going to kind of see I'm at a 213. We're going to hit 118. I'm going to brake way early before that pole. You can see I have plenty of time to brake, but even at the end of the first session here, I was smelling brakes. There was a lot of indicators to me that the brakes were not going to hold throughout the day. So we tried to do our best on this lap just to see what the car is going to give me. A lot of traction loss indication, and it really holds back any throttle input that you have. It's trying to manage itself. And so I knew while I was driving, I'm going to have to figure out how to get this off to give me a little more freedom. But I could hear the car had pulled some timing as well. So it wasn't very hot. I was a little bit surprised by that, but you know, I think it's to be expected. I mean, it's a bone stock car. There's a lot of things we can do, obviously, to make this car a lot more track capable, even in an essentially stock form, just by getting some new fluids in there, flushing everything out. And so here we're going to kind of take a look at what kind of speed we get up here. Again, I'm going to brake early. The tires in this first session, they weren't making much noise before I could feel a lot of traction loss, so there wasn't a lot of warning.
Yeah, we're not psychos.
Oh, no.
We're
So,
crazy
yeah.
in our
So,
own way.
yeah. We got some folks visiting. We got Jessie here, and Maria. Yeah. So they came from Chicago visiting. Don't encourage anybody to do this too much, but yeah, they came out on a layover, so they're going to go do some snowboarding and walk around. So he got an O2 Z06?
O2 Z06,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, and he got the round lights, right? And then he's got F bodies and all kind of crazy stuff. So now you're on there. Sorry, you're on the social media. He don't have social media, so you can't find him if you want to look him up. No, hey, well, this is.
I didn't even know how to react.
This is the business, bro. This is the business. This is the life we live, right? So I don't know where my helmet is, but all right. Well, I'll catch y'all when I get back, and we'll see how it does, huh? Well, C7 on all seasons. What do you think?
It's awesome.
You know, first day, first session, took a little bit for the tires to kind of wake up, get some heat in them. It's pretty cool out here. It's about 55, I'd say. So the surface temps are pretty low, but there has been cars on track. I kind of went out a little later, so it took them a little while to wake up. The brakes have a lot of like huge initial bite, but I just felt like there was some inconsistency, and so you know, over the course of that entire session, the brakes were like constantly changing, is what I would define it as. 100,000 miles on the car, definitely needs obviously some new fluid. I'm sure there's a lot of moisture in there. As I got towards the latter part of the session, I was going, you know, a little bit faster. The tire was waking up. Traffic was clearing. The one difference, you know, it has the active rev match. I actually enjoyed that. I mean, I'm a heel toe guy all day, every day when I drive a manual. Blipping the throttle in these cars that have dampened throttles and things like that, I mean, having the rev match makes it nice, and able to focus fully on the brake pedal. And so helmet height was gone versus the C5. You know, I had to kind of angle my seat in a weird kind of way. Definitely tighter in a C7, obviously the tightest of the C5 Z07 trio. I just love the C5 in terms of packaging, space. I don't know, it's just hard for me not to like that car overall, and so, you know, it's just more suited to my exact needs. But obviously the second session, I think, you know, the brakes will probably do a little better, tires will do a little better, and we'll see what happens. This is a non-mag ride car, which means it has competitive mode, much like the C5 Z06 would have or whatnot. I was just running in track mode with everything on, and it was holding me back quite a bit coming off of a lot of corners, so I was giving up a lot of time. I would say it's off the pace, but the car's quick. I mean, in a straight line, it's a pretty quick car, so it's pretty impressive. Feels pretty much like a Vette. The seats were better. I was definitely a little more stable in there, even though they're the base model seats. Overall, I can't complain. I ran the PDR, so I mean, you saw that, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try and dial things in, and then we'll jump forward ahead into maybe a later session and see what happens. So on the second session, this was a really well prepped E46 M3. It was a really nice car, and in the first session the guy was gaining on me because I was well, what he didn't know is I was running in non-competitive mode, and I was being held back and things were happening. So in this session he got in front of me because he didn't want to be held up by me. And this kind of leads to a unique situation because we're on our warm-up here, our outlap, and then this is going to kind of devolve pretty quickly, and I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about what happens. Here we go, and we are on the straightaway. So you know, progressively I'm going to kind of just slowly increase everything, dial everything up, and just feel what the car is willing to do. Still braking very early. This guy over conservative, so again, you have to watch out for other people. You can see he's braking mid-turn. He's not very confident. He sees me. He's looking at me in the rearview mirror. And this is something that a lot of people, and you can see he almost puts himself off track. So this is a key moment. I kind of want to take a minute and talk to you guys about this exact scenario and how dangerous this can be when doing a track day. So my job primarily is to focus on my line and where my car needs to be, not focusing on the car in front of me. And the same for him. He needs to be focusing on his line, not on me in the rearview mirror. So as I'm showing here, the red lines kind of depict my passive focus. My active focus is really on the yellow line and preparing to hit my turn in and my apex. The critical error that a lot of people make is that they will follow a car on a bad line, on that same bad line, but you can see my focus is maintained here with my apex and where my car needs to be, and peripherally I'm noticing and seeing him kind of going offline and potentially off track. So I'm prepared for it, but I'm keeping my car where I need to be. In this case, it's a pass anywhere track day, but the first session was very chaotic, and in the driver's debriefing, a few of us had something to say, but you can see guys all over the place. One of the coolest parts of track days is just running around with a lot of different stuff. You can see this car like wagging. I mean, this guy was a little unpredictable. Car had like maybe 100 horsepower, but it's super light. He loved trying to show up big cars in the technical parts of the track, which in this track's case, it's more like the latter half. He was on a full slick. I get past him right before a very slow speed section, and he's like right up on my bumper, right up behind me, but it was pretty fun. So again, I start feeling out the car, getting a little more aggressive in different sections. Turning on the competitive mode was a huge difference, and you can see that there's no indications of traction loss. I can dig off the corner a lot harder. And, surprisingly, this group, even though it's an advanced group, a lot of these guys had, very aggressive setups. A lot of tire. They just were needed some driver mod more. So I was catching up on these guys with these AS4s, and I must say, I mean, in the second session, this tire really came alive. It was a lot more than I expected, to be honest. And the Corvette just has great balance, and so I was right up on this guy's bumper. I do just want to point out, though, these are all about just having fun, and this is not a race. Of course you feel fun passing certain people or, whatnot, but, this is for everybody to have fun. I kind of like being able to catch certain cars, and it's challenging. I love chasing. So you can see there, a 210. We're going to shave more time, but look at this first pull and braking, 2 bars. Bringing down the speed, and I like to trail brake into this turn, which was super tricky with the S2000, but we're going to push a little bit more. I just wanted you to kind of take note of how I was braking into that first straightaway. Was being conservative, but it was about 2 bars on the brake indicator up there, and I'm going to show you where I end this session here. So here you can see we crossed the line at a 208.05, which is still way off my Z06. I'm braking theirs again, a 2-bar braking. Essentially the brakes, I mean, they're marginal. Most of the time that I'm not putting down is due to tire, so I'm losing a lot of time in the turns. The AS4 is a good tire. It just can't really get you up to a 1G or better without kind of washing out. So, and I'm trying to manage temperatures too. I mean, part of this is managing your brakes and managing the tire. You can push everything, maybe one kind of real hot lap, but I kind of wanted the car to last the entire day also, so I was kind of building up for this final session, and you'll see in the end I pushed the car as pretty much hard as I can comfortably here in the last session, and you'll see what happens. So yeah, finding the competitive mode definitely helped. I had a lot less restriction coming off the corner, so biggest thing, and it's kind of mirroring the S2000 situation, 2 bone stock cars. It's more of a braking confidence issue, really. I can't really push the car down into the braking zone as much as I would like to. But overall, the handling of the C7 is pretty impressive. I mean, Z51, I tell you, I mean, you know, brake fluid, pads, and a tire, you know, goes a long way. Turns in really well. I mean, it's, you know, they really, for having to go mid-engine for C8, I must say, I mean, C7 seems dialed. I can't imagine, like, you know, the Grand Sport, I mean, that's really what Lace wanted, or a Z06. I don't know. I tend to lean Grand Sport and build that motor versus a Z06, but there's definitely a Z06 out here with big aero, and he's running quick, 147, 6, something like that. He's a fast car out here, so. All right, now we're getting somewhere. I couldn't get the display. I knew there was other displays in the C7, but a lot of people seem to set like a default to like a sport display or something, but you can link it to drive mode, and so that way, yeah, see there's a sport mode. It was stuck in that one. See, tour is like this, but I couldn't get the track because I don't particularly like this one, and I wondered if I could get more information on the screen. But obviously now I might be able to see my PDR, my lap times, because I don't have my thing I usually set that uses my cell phone. I forgot to mount, but my oil temps have been getting up, and obviously I could see engine temperature but not pressure or temperature on the oil. So I feel like it's such a small screen area. Okay, so here's how it all unfolded. So you see this Supra in front of me. Very nice Supra on Advans, had some front and rear aero, definitely spec'd out for track days, and that guy was kind of catching me in the last session. So you know, he got in front of me purposely in the lineup, and I was cool with that because I was like, you know, I feel like I want to chase this guy, you know. So we kind of get into some traffic. This is about lap 2 or 3, maybe 3, and we're getting behind this little buzz box thing that this guy was driving, and he's a pretty aggressive guy. Like he doesn't want to get out of your way and stuff, you know. He's really, and you see how he undercuts and tries to power off the corner, but obviously I got a lot more power in him in this big straight. So me and this Supra, we get to going, and I'm kind of determined that I'm going to catch this Supra. So this is really where maybe a little bit of my heat management of the brakes kind of goes out the window, and, you know, just a little. And I'm thinking, you know, I want to track this guy down and pass him. And so I really start obviously putting some heat into everything. So jumping forward here, we're going to, you know, obviously battle a little traffic. You can see the Supra runs away from me. Kind of am a little delayed, so we only get up to about 117, as you can see there, braking very early, but you can tell by the bar indicator I'm not really using a lot of the brakes. So we're going to try and get through some traffic here, but I'm going to try and reel this guy in, and I'm kind of watching him. He has a little bit of a late apex tendency, and tries to really dig and accelerate off the corners. So you can see through these sections it's a tire situation. I mean, he's got a lot more grip. Power-wise, the Supras are pretty quick, and so I don't know, this supercharged Camaro, this is a Callaway Camaro up here. Now you can see him getting a little sliding a bit because he's probably distracted. When people get around other vehicles, a lot of times it really puts them off their game, and that seems to be happening to him. So we're going to see acceleration here, C7 all out versus the Supra, and I mean, you can see the Supra is leaving me. And he does definitely have a tire advantage. Obviously has a little bit of aero. So we're going to see up here, and you're going to see the guys, you know, one of the most dangerous things about some of these people is just their lack of focus on where they should be looking. So I track him down in this area pretty aggressively. He's on the brake, and you can see I'm coming up quick. And again, he'll wash out his entire apex. Again, I'm looking at my own line, and he kind of gives up and concedes. So from here, if I had a rear view, you would see he then tries to kind of follow me and follow my line and see what's happening, and I essentially put some time on him. Okay, so trying to get away from the Supra, I run the fastest time of the day at 207.1, but watch the brake indicator. So there we go, still got brake. So here you're going to see the money shot as I come out of this corner, but you're going to see how quick I catch it. So here it is right here. I'm going to shift to third, but go to first. Catch it right to third. these Porsches, great car for this track. This is a very balanced track. It rewards a car that's nimble and handles well, combined with some power. And these 718s, Caymans, whatever you want to call them, I mean, of the right years, they're very capable cars. And you can see we're pretty even on the straightaway. I'm going to reel them in some of these ladder sections again because, you know, despite me being on a lot less tire, I mean, I think laterally this is where people are very cautious, you know what I mean? And obviously I pick up a little speed, the compliance of the C7, but he does the same thing. I mean, you know, just washes out his apex there. The C7 is very compliant though, even with the factory suspension. I mean, I can take some curbs, but if you just come up aggressively on the back of someone, they just completely get distracted. So I'm curious here. I think I take a little penalty in time. We might have run a 206 here had I maybe not had a little bit of an interaction there trying to get around him. But then we're going to see from the pushing with the Supra and then pushing to catch the Porsche, this is where it all goes down here. So coming off the corner, obviously full throttle, getting into it. We're going to see where we get across the line here, 207.55. So over the next lap, I basically, with no traffic, try to you know, decrease my time, and I'm coming up on the end of this lap, but you know, I could detect that the brakes maybe were a little bit deeper, but nothing that was too alarming. And then you're going to see here, we're going to go all out. I mean, I don't have any major feeling, but you can see I've lost some time, even though I've had a wide open lap. And so here's where it happens. 118, brake to the floor. I hurry up and pump again. And you can see I bleed enough speed because I was braking cautiously, and then inevitably let some cars pass me. But you'll see here what essentially happens now that I'm going slow and I have less airflow over the brake. They're going to continue to boil, and it's going to kind of worsen the situation. So here we're around the backside of the track. I'm usually doing 80. I'm doing 60 instead. Watch the brake indicator. All the way to the floor, barely slowing down. And so yeah, it was in, you know, the end of the day there, and so we wrapped it up. If you guys watched, what is that show, the zombie show, like The Walking Dead? Negan.
I just cannot decide which one of you is gonna dance with death tonight.
Said, put your pants on. That's what I needed on the straightaway there. So if you saw in the video, I might have highlighted, but I'll show you here again, like brake pedal to the floor. I mean, it was, I've been conservative over here. I've been talking about brakes. You guys, I ain't lying now. To the floor. So you could probably see in the image on the top right that where it shows the brake that I was pushing quite the distance. So Lace is in here in the RV with the whole scene view of Las Vegas. And I'm like, I'm going to get behind this Camaro, this Callaway supercharged Camaro, and this Supra. Now, you guys watching the video on like Lace, watching me, saw that I done conquered those two in my stock C7, but ran out of brakes because of it. And here, I think she's in here just championing me, and she don't even know what I'm talking about.
I am.
No, you don't even, you were like, oh yeah, that was good. That was a real good move you did there. No, she didn't even know. Wonder if I could zoom in on you. Can I zoom?
No zoom.
I want to zoom. How do I zoom in on you? I don't know. Oh, there we go. Little tricks I'm learning about this DJI thing. So this girl wasn't even, I thought you'd be in here with pom-poms, selfie and video, and as I was catching big built Supras and supercharged Camaros, and you were not.
I mean, it's kind of hard. I can't really tell that you're coming until you hit like right over here, because all that track is all the way down there. I can watch you to a point here.
Oh my.
But that's about it.
So disappointed. Well, I mean, that shows you the car's dancing around the limits. So there you can see. I got 5 laps before I lost brakes, my out lap, and then 4 207s. And, you know, tire and brake kind of at the end. So,
and unless you plan on putting brakes on it tonight, I don't think you're driving it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't, are you gonna try and make this next one? Are you gonna risk it for the biscuit, or are you gonna...
Oh God.
What you gonna do? Was this the last one?
Well, I mean, the situation is, obviously I was pushing a little more, pushing a little deeper because of the Supra and that Camaro. I was determined to catch them. So, you know, I just have to be that guy sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I could run it easier, but I don't know that there's much point. Maybe I don't know. Is there a point when you've reached what seems to be kind of the max of the car, and it's dangerous? You know what I mean? There's obviously, I've told you guys before on this channel, I don't like to push these cars too hard for this exact reason, especially when you don't know the car. And so, you know, it clearly needs a brake flush. So what happens essentially is the brakes get so hot, it boils the fluid is usually what happens. And, you know, and then you get, obviously you compress air and all kinds of things that are in the line, and it's probably never had fluid changed ever. Right, so this is the comparison. My C5 Z06 on the right, the C7 on the left. C7, you can see, taps 120. I don't quite get there. We transition at about the same speed because of my C5 here. This is my first day, and I do have a passenger in the car. Through this transition, I'm able to get on the power consistently. You see there's about a 6 mile per hour difference there, and get moving. And around here, we're about 5 miles per hour quicker. The C7 tracks me down, though, pretty consistently all the time. I run out of gear there as to where the C7 still had gear, so it kind of catches me. We're through the transition. I'm a little bit faster, but on the power way earlier in the C5. It has traction off the corner. But again, look at the speeds. You know, the C7 just catches me. And you'll see right here, I'm a little ahead in the C5, getting on the straight, power down early. I'm 10 miles per hour faster right now, but you're going to see the C7 on the left is just going to track me down. And so peak speed here, I brake at 109. I'm at 115 braking in the C7. We kind of transition through this area, but I'm on the power quicker. 80 miles per hour through this area, which I've not hit in any other car that I've driven out there. But yet again, this is the C5Z's first track day. I'm much more comfortable on this track now. So you can see 62. I mean, the C7 it has a lot of acceleration once it gets moving. Pretty consistent all through here, though, but you're going to see through this last section, I'm obviously ahead now in the C5 quite a bit. And this last section is where a lot of mechanical grip comes into play. It's lower speed, and it's just really going to favor my C5 in terms of just tire grip and width. So you can see I'm a good bit faster through here on the power much earlier. As to where the C7, I kind of have to get through this turn and wait until the car's pretty straight to really get on the power, and so that's where a big advantage is. C5 ends at a 202. I've definitely got sub 2s in the C5. C7 ends at a 207.1, so there's no question. I think the C7 definitely has probably 5 seconds in it, just with tires and brakes. The question will be, once I take the C5Z back there, with the experience I have on that track, what am I able to really take off in terms of time? And then can the C7 with just brakes and tires and maybe no suspension, you know, really how close are they? The C5Z's lighter. The C7 has some advantages with the E-diff, and, you know, basically just a newer chassis, a little bit stiffer steering, things like that. So it is questionable, but that's what we're going to try to explore in April. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you would sub and leave a comment if you haven't done that already. And we're going to have a lot more Corvette content ahead, as always, on Night Drive TV. See you again.